Welcome to Often Pacing on Tab Radio Racing and Sport. Tim Walker will be joined by Matt Young and Oliver Cownie as they delve into the form for today's Pinjarra harness meeting, as well as an early look at tomorrow's meeting at Gloucester Park. We are Often Pacing.
It's a very good morning, everybody. Welcome along to Often Pacing for another week. Great to be with you. Hopefully you've all enjoyed a wonderful weekend of harness racing. Of course, Gloucester Park Friday night, going back to Gloucester Park there, and the Narrogin Cup on Saturday night. What a finish. What a surprising finish in the end, albeit with Penny Tiger taking it out. Joining me on the line today, Ollie Cownie and Matt Young, as they always do. Matt, to you firstly, a very good morning.
Good morning, Tim. Happy birthday, Tim.
Thank you. And Ollie, a very good morning to you as well.
Good morning and happy birthday as well.
Thank you, Ollie. Well, gents, we'll have a quick look back to the weekend before we go with our horses to follow from Gloucester Park on Friday night. A lot of eyes were very much on Narrogin on Saturday night with the running of the Narrogin Cup. And Matt, as they say, you don't have to paint the picture of how a horse wins, and Penny Tiger, he was able to get the job done, and one of those cases where a win is a win.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it just came down to they drove a race to try and beat Lavra Joe. They successfully beat him, but at the same time, it nearly comes unstuck when you've got the horses coming through on the peg line. That looked somewhat threatening late. Feeling Aces was a really good run into second place, going down narrowly, but I really liked how Penny Tiger really dug deep and showed determination to want to win that race. I thought Nullarbor Navajo was very good into third place as well. So, yeah, and Volton Tin was okay on return into fourth, pegging up. So Penny Tiger wanted the win. He got the win, and they succeeded in beating Lavra Joe. And they succeeded in holding the cup aloft for the first time.
What was your takeaway from Lavra Joe there, Matt, just on that?
Look, I just think it's hard to come back off of what obviously happened on Fremantle Cup night. And I think he'll bounce off that run fine. We've seen Ray's been able to get him to bounce back pretty quickly. So I'm not too concerned. I just think any horse that was chasing a quick middle half like that is going to come unstuck in the end. So, yeah, he would have ideally liked to have had that Fremantle Cup run or another run under his belt going into it. But, yeah, it's probably a little bit rushed, but I've got full faith that we'll see Lavra Joe back to his best very soon.
Ollie, I guess the big talking point now out of it is with a horse like Penny Tiger. So every time that he draws on the front line, his gate speed is always going to be spoken about. Do you feel like that next time in with this free-for-all campaign under his belt and running really well in a Fremantle Cup, that he's now a horse that is capable of being able to hold the lead in big races and run his races out in front?
I think now he's sort of getting that respect that he is an absolutely brilliant beginner, so no one's really coming out and trying to try and cross him in the near future. But I think he does look like he has sort of added that string to the bow where he's settled really nicely out in front, so he can hold the lead if he wants to. But I do think in the big races, he probably will be better off better served sitting behind a horse like Lavra Joe or a horse like Minstrel or something like that. But he may choose to lead as well, and it just gives him options now.
All right, let's go with some horses to follow from Friday night, and it'll be interesting to see what you boys have come up with here. I think there's one which is going to be the same from both of you that goes into the black book. So, Matt, for you firstly, where do you want to start from Friday night?
Yeah, I'm looking at Cloud 9. I thought his performance on Friday night, he just hit the line bolting. I know it was that sort of race, but he was actually breathing fire in behind them, and I think if he got a clear run, he would have won the race. So I'm seeing as though we've both marked Cloud 9. I'm going to mark another one from that race as well in Rock Me Over, who I thought's first up run was quite good. They got home in a quick quarter. He went to the line absolutely bolting on that occasion. And then on Friday night, excuse me for one sec, on Friday night, his performance showed that if he was able to get into the clear a little bit earlier, I think he would have nearly won the race. So going forward, that is one of those races that there was a lot of unlucky performers, but I just like the way both of those hit the line. And in the last, I was really impressed by Raynette. I thought was a really good effort in the breeze, which at this stage in her career, I would say wasn't really her go. They did go steady, but when asked for the supreme effort down the back, the response was there and stuck it out really well, and I think is going to benefit from that. And going forward, he's just a horse to follow. I've got a lot of time for the horse. It's already won twice in her career so far, and I think there's plenty more wins to come, especially as a 2-year-old.
All right, so that is Cloud9 Raynette, and also Rock Me Over there for Matt, just a little bonus one thrown on top. So, Ollie, you were with Cloud9 as well. Your summary on that performance there Friday?
I think once you saw the 35-2 flash up for the lead time, you thought if you were on Cloud9, you thought you were on pretty good terms there. If he was able to get clear, he really would have gone very, very close. But in the end, he just got dragged out of it by the tiring leader, as Matt said, and he was ready to go, but just no room to do anything. So going forward, he's one to follow, and he did trial really well leading in. So I think he's going well. And then in race 3, You Better Follow Me, sort of been racing in the lower grades in the country most of his career, and stepped up on Friday night, and he's been really good this time. He showed a really nice turn of foot, and he did that again on Friday, where he was flashing through once he did get clear late and was taking good ground off Captain Bligh and Magnus Victor. So I thought that was a real flashing lights run. And then in race 4, Without the Tar, a horse with really, really good gate speed. Didn't choose to use it on Friday, but was still hitting the line really, really well late when it did get out, which wasn't until the concluding stages. And I think when able to use his gate speed and take a sit on the right horse will be a really, really strong place bet.
All right, so that is for Ollie there, Cloud9, You Better Follow Me, and also Without the Tar, getting to see him for the first time in a couple of months on Friday night. So our attention towards today then, Pinjarra, 9 races on the program. Matt, we spoke to you a little bit earlier. We'll let you fire away here. You're going to race 4, and this is, as we said about half an hour ago on the Sports Daily in your preview, it's a tricky race, this one. How did you see it playing out?
Yeah, I thought could be a little bit of contention in this race with who's going to lead. There's some speed off the front line. I think even the horse is drawn a little bit wider, haven't got blistering speed, so therefore there's going to be some sort of pressure to try and get to the top. And I just thought there was one that's going to be posing up just in behind them, Switchblade, who I liked the first up 4th. I thought the run had plenty of merit, should come on nicely from that. New trainers with this horse as well, and Brian Clemens, he does a good job with his small team, and I thought from the back line this horse could get a pretty good run. Learning more about it, they're going to be better equipped. Trent Wheeler's first drive on it last start too, so he's going to be better equipped behind this horse. I think there's just a lot of positives pushing towards Switchblade on an each-way basis. So that's how I saw race number 4 on the card. And then 2 others that I liked for the day to play. One that I outlined on the Sports Daily this morning, Only Me and Lou. I just really taken with this horse's last win, especially. I thought it was a gutsy effort and just one with a little bit of arrogance, and the start before was a nice soft win. He's just got a lot of toughness to him, and I thought he could sit up outside the speed here and be able to go on his winning way again. So he's one that continues to improve every time we see him hit the racetrack, and I think he can do it again. It's a deeper race than he has been up against, but I think he's really hard to beat. And in race number 7 on the card, happy to play Mr. Ridgewell, the Richie Bell style of bet, 1 by 3 here. I think he's going to get the perfect run in behind Blaze On, and he will be able to flash really strongly late. Use that sprint lane. We know Blaze On will get him to the sprint lane. I don't think Blaze On will be getting crossed in the early stages, so it should be Mr. Ridgewell leaders back. And if he is ready to rock and roll, I thought it was a nice, solid enough trial on Wednesday at Pinjarra. He's not far away. He's a good sick kick horse. He's going to have the last crack at them, and he shouldn't miss a place. So he was the way I was playing in race number 7.
All right, and Matt, it should be noted last week that you were able to identify Me Flash that won in the lucky last and was right, or you were all over it last week, certainly with your tips there. So Switchblade in race 4, Only Me and Lou in race 6, and Mr. Ridgewell 1 by 3 play there in race number 7. Now, Ollie, you are going to race number 2 for the first of yours today.
Major Mickey Whippy was pretty slow away on debut, so the one off that here wouldn't look that good. But then next start, I thought it was quite good early to come out alongside Como El Viento before dropping back onto the pegs, and then made a really strong challenge down the back and just tied a touch late, but I thought was understandable in the situation and should be much better for that run. And I think drawing one now after being used off the gate last start should get out even better today. So I think if it gets out and can lead or sit leaders back, should go really, really well. I think Major Mickey Whitby. So I think it deserves to be favourite in that race. And then race 6, so I thought it's just a shot away. Came up against a pretty handy horse, I think, in the making. American Cruise, yes, who had no luck on debut, and then his next start was just really, really good to win from the 1-1, and Only Me and Lou. It's a smart horse as well. I think it's on the up, but I think it's just a shot away, can sit in the running line, and from there should be pretty hard to beat. And then in race 9, High Sugar Rush. It's been super, super impressive since getting to WA. On debut in WA, it's super to win from the back, and really impressive beating Only Man Lou there as well. And then last start made a long sustained run 3 wide, and they ran pretty hard through the middle stage of the race. So I thought it did really well to just keep powering through the line late in a solid last half. And then here it draws the pole. It's up against older horses, but I think it had really good gate speed in New Zealand, and off that it should lead pretty easy here. And then I can't see too much pressure in the race, so it might just get away with it, I think.
So that is your 3 for today. Major Mickey Whitby in race 2, High Sugar Rush in race 9. It's just a shot away there in race 6. And just on American Cruise, one that was thrown out, one of 2 that were thrown out last week by Matt. A pretty successful last Tuesday night there. American Cruise, Cam's Boulder. Does pay to listen to Often Pacing. And Ollie as well, your better or worse tip last week at Gloucester Park. The 1x3 did run second as well. So that was Gloucester Park last week. Let's look to Gloucester Park this Tuesday night, and Ollie, we'll let you start. So you're going to race 3 for the first of your 2.
Race 3, it looks the perfect setup for Parakeet here. A horse that loves to lead and loves to race up on the pace, but I think it might go up pretty short. I'm hoping it runs along for our bet in the race 5 play to just peg up into the placings there, and I think it could be pretty decent odds. Despite its numerical form of a 9th and a 12th, it's actually racing really well. He goes so much better when he's on the peg line. So a win 3 runs back and a second 4 runs back, I think he's going well enough to run a place here. And then in race 8, another one that I'm mostly keen on a place, got to go Warhol. 2 back, just got a long way back in the race and sprinted really hard home in a race that was just dominated by the pegs with codename Marcus out in front, and then was left in the breeze last start by Road Closure, who's been super impressive since Carl Harper took the reins, and I think that's really good form for this race. So I think Gotta Go Warhol can dig up and find the leaders back, and then looks a really good bet 1x3.
All right, so the 1x3 there, Gotta Go Warhol and Fire Play. Now, Matt, for you tomorrow night at Gloucester Park, you're going just slightly early. You'll get to race 8 in a moment, but race 2, the first of yours.
Yes, I'll just make sure that I haven't marked the wrong race there, Tim. I have, so it is actually race 3.
Race 3 as well? Yep.
Yeah. With Parakeet, I thought, I do agree 100% with what Ollie's saying there. I just thought Parakeet would win this race, and she was pretty confident to be just a anchor in all multis and everything like that. But yeah, her last 2 runs, her run at Pinjarra 2 starts ago was outstanding. And last start, Me Flash, who we know is just such a potent front runner, she was shaken off at the 400, but she came back at the line. She was taking ground off of him, and it was one of the quicker 1100 metre races that I've seen there. It's hard to really put a gauge on the times when you're talking about an 1100 metre dash, but I thought performance-wise it was full of merit. Her last 2 have been full of merit, and I think she should lead and win. And then race number 8 on the card, Jillaby Jake should win, but going with an each-way play in the event. I think Got a Good Warhole's going pretty well, and I thought he could be dangerous late if things go awry. There's a little bit of speed off the front line. Cold Hard Cash has got some ability. Some horses out wider have got some early toe, so it's not a given for Jillaby Jake, who, let's be honest, doesn't win out of turn these days, but he's a good front runner, and I thought Got a Good Warhole is racing well enough to suggest that he could be able to potentially pinch it, but definitely a 1x3 in race number 8.
All right, a 1x3 Got a Good Warhole there for both Ollie and Matt in race number 8 tomorrow night, and Fireplay place heavy for Ollie in race 3 and Matt race 3 with Parakeet, expecting Parakeet to be hard to beat there. Ryan Bell's going to join us in a couple of moments, gents, on Off and Pacing. We've obviously got the Pearl Heats there tomorrow night for the 3-year-olds. We saw the 3-year-old event on Friday night as well. Matt, just very briefly, just a touch on the heats there tomorrow night, who you expect will be tough to beat there and obviously put themselves in shape to get into the final?
Yeah, it's disappointing news in regards to Opal Hunter.
Yes.
He's come out, and that's really sad for all connections there because he's got such tremendous ability. So looking at the 2 heats, I think Wave Rider was beaten, but definitely didn't lose any admirers in his defeat on Friday night. They got home really quick. I think he'll be driven pretty aggressively here on Tuesday. I think just the harder you drive him, the better he goes, is what he's come back as. And if he can find the top, he'll be very hard to beat. But if he's in the breeze, I think he'll win anyway. So Wave Rider, if there's anyone that wants to jump off and offer a better price, I'm happy to take it. Race 4 and race number 5. This becomes a really fascinating race. Ideal Muscle's got some speed. Cook and Run's got some speed. Franco Encore was really good on Friday night. Prince of Pain. There's winning form all around. But yeah, I would say Ideal Muscle, on what I saw on Friday night, will be pretty hard to beat off the inside draw. I think he's got the speed to be able to hold up.
Yeah. Any reason not to agree there, Ollie?
No, I thought Wave Rider probably wasn't suited the way it was run Friday. He might have been better up on the speed outside the leader. Just couldn't quite get into it in the end, out 3 wide, and the leader sprinted, and it might actually be quite a nice horse, Franco Encore, so it's one to follow going forward as well with his great gate speed.
Terrific. Well, all the very best over the next couple of days, Ollie. Thanks for your time this morning.
Thanks, Tim.
There is Ollie Cownie, and Matt will hear from you tomorrow morning on the Sports Daily for your preview from 8:45, and of course, we'll be back again next week with Off and Pacing, obviously, but stay tuned to the Trots WA X page down there at Pinjarra today.
Absolutely right, Tim. Have a fantastic rest of your birthday, mate.
All the very best. There is Matt Young with us on the program, as well as Ollie Cownie. Stay tuned to Off and Pacing. Ryan Bell, he's going to join us next, so talking about Wave Rider and also Franco Encore after Friday night.
On Tab Radio, Racing and Sport, this is Off and Pacing.
And it is great to have your company. And as mentioned, our special guest for this morning is Ryan Bell. He's got a couple of chances today and also an eye towards the Pearl Heats tomorrow night. A very good morning to you, Ryan.
Good morning, Tim and listeners.
How do we find you this morning? Working hard, obviously.
I'm in cruise mode today.
Oh, you've done all the hard work?
Good for me.
Yes? Done all your hard work for the day?
Not really. No, we're still going. We've got to get ready for Pinjarra soon. So.
Yes, we'll touch on that soon. We'll get to Pinjarra very soon, but just an eye back to Friday night just gone. There's clearly, with the feature race coming up, the Pearl and the heats tomorrow night, but an eye to Friday week. What we saw from, obviously, Franco Encore winning and Wave Rider running second, you must have been wrapped with the pair of them.
Yeah, Wave Rider looked a little bit disappointing on face value, but I've never made it any secret that Franco Encore's as good as him on his night. He's just a harder horse to deal with than him. And once Franco Encore got that lead time he did and then got away with those that first half, I knew then that Wave Rider would struggle to get past Franco Encore. But the most impressive part was how easy Franco Encore won the race. And the disappointing part was Aiden's horse was a fair way off Wave Rider and nearly got him for second. So that was a bit disappointing. But I did say before the race, Wave Rider is doing too well at home, and that's why I started him, and I think it told on Friday.
Okay, so he's in the first of the 2 heats tomorrow night then, so we'll start there. Drawn 8, do you drive aggressively? Is that the instructions to Kyle tomorrow night, or do you just let him take it as it comes?
I think he'll just take it as it comes. He'll pretty much qualify 50% right, given the way that the field's turned out. And so I think Aidan will want to lead on the little horse this week because he doesn't know whether he's Arthur or Martha. And so he'll probably keep us posted. And if Kyle wants to eyeball him, he can. If he doesn't, just sit off him and try and run second, well, that'll be it. The main aim is to qualify.
Yep, and just in terms of what the long-term goals and aspirations look for him as a 3-year-old, do you keep going after the Pearl, or the Pearl will be it and then reassess and come back later on in the year?
Yeah, the Pearl will be it and then reassess. I actually had the conversation with Kevin Jevons on the weekend and a bit before, and I said he's my best hope that I've had out of all the nice horses I've had in the last few years of winning the Derby, I think. And so we will concentrate on winning that. And so he'll go have a 2 to 3 week let up after the Pearl, and then get back into it and concentrate on the Westbred and the Derby.
So what separates and makes you say that is the case, that he is your best Derby chance, because you've had some nice enough chances in the last 5 or 6 years?
Well, yes and no. The last Shockwave, everything went wrong as a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
Swing Band, everything went wrong right at the last minute as a 3-year-old. And this bloke, I think we've learned a lesson a bit by not overtaxing them until the right moment leading into the Derby to get them peak fitness. And he just, with his high cruising speed and he's showing a bit of grit about him, his 3 runs back this prep, and I don't know, I'm not too sure how to answer that. I just got this gut feeling that he's my best chance of winning it.
All right, and so then to Franco Encore, who's in the second of the Pearl Heats tomorrow night. The disappointing news, which the boys touched on earlier, regarding Opal Hunter, so that's left it with a field of half a dozen. How did you see it playing out for him there tomorrow night from what is now barrier number 3?
Yeah, I haven't actually had a good look at it, Tim, but there's something underneath him that's got good gate speed, isn't there?
You've got Ideal Muscle and also Court Can Run, so obviously Ideal Muscle, very good Friday night as well.
Yeah, he'll go good, Frank Uncle. He's really stepped up. I've had a bit of trouble with him, and I always thought, as good as I think he is, I always thought he was a little bit squibby, but the last week he's really stepped up, and like I said, I was actually confident he could beat Wave Rider on Friday, and he did. So he'll run his good honest race, and again, all he has to do is qualify, and we'll concentrate on trying to win the final. And
is he one that later on in the year, if he was able to have circumstances go his way, I know you've got the wrap on Wave Rider there, but any reason why he couldn't be right there alongside Wave Rider in the big races?
100% he can, yeah. Frank Encore's always been my pick a bit, knowing how good Wave Rider is, and Tiff and Kyle seem to be sticking with Wave Rider, so there's a bit going on at the moment, bit of banter amongst the stable, but once again, I prove them all wrong.
Yes, it's a good good dilemma to have.
But yeah, Frank Encore's just needs to grow up a bit and probably mature a bit more than what Wave Rider does. But he'll get there, and whilst it was an easy win and he got it his own way on Friday, it was positive signs.
Ryan Bell is with us on Off and Pacing. Now, your other runner there tomorrow night at Gloucester Park, LA Eagle. Do you give an each way chance to LA Eagle in race number 7 on the program?
Yeah, an each way chance, but this is his last chance for me. If he doesn't put his hand up on Tuesday, he's had a fair few issues from the time he was a yearling. He's had a couple of bone chip operations and suspensories and bad knees and God knows what else. And we tried again with him this time because he's always been a tryer, but to us he's not trying at all now. And if he tells us tomorrow night that he's just not putting in 100%, then I'd say he'll be retired.
Okay, so that is LA Eagle in race number 7. Now, just a word on these couple today at Pinjarra. So, have you liked what you've got so far from Mickey Springstep in 2 starts?
Yeah, I have actually. He's just surprised me a bit. He's always shown that he'll be a nice horse for the future because he's such a monster of a horse. Not only is he tall, he's heavy as well. And he just lacks that little bit of point-to-point speed, but he just keeps getting better and better. And I've been quite happy with his 2 runs. He's stuck on well and showed some enthusiasm. He's a bit blasé at home, and his work on Saturday was as good as it gets for him and the best he's ever worked and how sharp he was. So it'll be interesting. He has only met small fields in his first 2 starts, and this is the first time he's met a full field, and it's 2100, but I do think he would be better set up, so hopefully today's the day.
Okay, and then Swagger Man in the last, is it very much just each way would be a pass mark there? If you could run into the top 4, that'd be a good result? Yeah,
for sure. I've had nothing but troubles with this horse in 2 years that I've had him feet trouble, and his work has been good. We've changed a bit of shoeing to make him comfortable and all that stuff, and that's a ripper field. I was just looking at it earlier, and that's as good a country field as you can get. So if he runs top 5 in that today, which based on his work he can, well then we're on the right track.
Yeah, certainly going to be worth waiting for there today, the lucky last event at Pinjarra. Now, just one that you mentioned earlier on, so Swingband, obviously 3rd in the Nullarbor, very, very close to being runner-up. Is he enjoying a little bit of a break now?
Yeah, unfortunately, Timmy pulled up with a quarter crack from the Fremantle Cup, which explains why he stopped that last 200 metres and ended up finishing a fair way off them after having the pie ride. And so we've had to cut his foot away, and he'll be out for 3 months, and hopefully we are back in time for the Pacing Cup.
Okay, all right, let's hope that is the case. Thank you for your time this morning. We do appreciate it. We'll let you get back to work and working smarter, not harder, as they say, Billy.
Always, Tim, always.
Good luck. Enjoy the trip to Pinjarra today. Hopefully it's a prosperous one for you.
Cheers, bud. Thanks.
There is Ryan Bell with us on the line. That rounds us out for another edition of Off and Pacing. Of course, we'll be back next Monday morning with Matt and Ollie, and there'll be plenty to work through after the Diamond this Friday night. If you are taking runners to Pinjarra today, all the very best. Hopefully there's a few winners there for you, and don't forget those ones today from Matt and Ollie. They were keen. Matt Switchblade in race 4, Only Me and Lou in race 6, Mr. Ridgewell on the 1x3 in race 7, Ollie with Major Mickey Whitby in race 2. It's Just a Shot Away in race 6 and High Sugar Rush in race number 9. All the very best. Many winners to you. Look forward to your company again next week on Off and Pacing.